60's, child. Hello, and today we're going to be looking at my top 20 die-cast toys from the 60s and 70s. So without further ado, let's get going. Parsley the Lions Car. Parsley was one of the main characters in the Herbs. Funny thing is, I don't remember him ever driving a car in it. But anyway, it was a cute car and you got some cut out stand-up figures in the box. Noddys Care. In the early 60s, Noddy was quite scary as a puppet, but as we approached the 70s he seemed to develop a rounder, happier face. Released by Corgi in 1969, there were 3 different versions of this car. All 3 had Noddy and big ears in the front, and in the back, a grey face golly, a black face golly, or a teddy bear. But by 1975 he was Noddy no mates. Another one issued in 1969, the Corgi's Beatles Yellow Submarine. Nicely modelled this one, it's got moving bits on, and the figures do look a bit like the Beatles. Lions of Longley Land Rover. Now this was a superb set. Now living in the northwest I never really got to see the Longley Lions unless they were on telly. Released by Corgi in 1968. It was a cool Land Rover and you got a keeper with a rifle, some lions, and the food, and somewhere to keep them. 1971 Dinky Ed Straker's car from UFO. Released in several colours including gold. Everything about this car was cool. In fact it had a keyless clockwork motor that you pushed down and pulled back and let go and it flew up. From the same show, the UFO Interceptor. Now in the show it looked like this. Now for some reason unknown to me, the toy looked like this. Pretty cool again, he pressed a button and it fired the missile. Never understood why it was metallic green. If you know, let me know in the comments, put me out in misery. Dinky again, this time it's Father Unwin's Gabriel Model T Ford from the Secret Service. Now the Secret Service one was a bit of a Marmite one, you either loved it or hated it. Issued in 1969, I quite like this car, although I believe it didn't sell that well. Quite rare today now. Simon Templar's Volvo. Issued in 1965 by Corgi, it was based on the TV show The Saints starring Roger Moore. Now there was no special buttons on this or anything like that, and the figure inside didn't look much like Roger Moore, but there was something really cool about this car and it came in 2 other versions, a red bonnet and a blue bonnet. Back with Dinky again, and this time it's the mini moat from The Prisoner. Dinky issued this in 1967. I was far too young to watch this first time round, but I have watched it since and I must say, it was really ahead of its time. These mini moats were used as taxis in the village. Today in mint condition, these little cars will set you back quite a few quid. Sam's car from Joe 90. Issued in 1969, this car had the same motor as Ed Straker car. You pulled it back and pressed down and let go. It came in 3 different colours and you even got a Joe 90 badge. Released the same year was Joe's car. Now Joe's car could fly, so it had wings that you would pull out, fins on the back, and the wheels had a cool suspension. And you could put a battery in the bottom of it and that would light up the exhaust at the back. Thunderbirds I go! Thunderbird 2 was first released in 1967 and it was green like the one on the telly. But as we approached the 70s it turned into a metallic sort of bluey green. Why, I have no idea. It had landing legs, the pod was detachable and it had a Thunderbird 4 inside. There was one design fault, the legs were very spindly and tended to snap, but they did make them thicker later on heading towards the 70s. 1967 Corgi Daktari set. The show was a big success, and the Land Rover was cool. You got the figures with it. Who didn't want to own a cross-eyed lion? In 1969 it was extended. There was 2 more vehicles and more animals. Corgi's 1967 issue of the Avengers cars. This set featured the cars of John Steed and Mrs. Peel. Steed's Bentley in the show was green, but for some unknown reason it was released in red. I did read a theory that it's because kids wouldn't eat green, so they didn't like green cars. I don't know how true that is, but they did later on release it in green. Anyhow, what's not to love about a Bentley and a Lotus Elan? You even got the figures. Corgi's 1968 issue of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Yes, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, we do love you. How can you not love a flying car? This toy car, you could pull the wings out and it didn't fly, but you could pretend it did. The detail on this car was really quite something. Corgi's the Monkeymobile. Issued in 1968, this was the car from the Monkeys TV show. And to coin a phrase from the TV show, it was cool, man. Although close up the figures didn't really look like the Monkeys. Black Beauty. No, not the horse. The flaming car. You can't get this stuff these days. Black Beauty, the crime-fighting car. Issued by Corgi in 1968, this was based on the Green Hornet TV show. Now, I don't remember this airing in Britain, but I do remember the car for some reason. It starred Van Williams and a very young Bruce Lee. The car was ace, though. It fired a rocket out the front, and if you opened the boot, a spinning radar flew out. Mind you, it wasn't long before you lost the accessories, and you couldn't go on eBay then and order some. Anyhow, the car was smart, so it deserves its place at number 4. FAB, it's Fab 1 from Thunderbird. Issued by Dinky in 1966, Fab 1 was Lady Penelope's Rolls Royce of the future. And although as a lad I struggled a bit owning a pink car, you could slide the roof open and it fired rockets out the radiator. And it had 4 rockets at the back to fire. The figures weren't brill, but they sort of looked like them. Bond, James Bond. I know, don't give up the day job. Aston Martin DB5 appeared in Goldfinger and Thunderbird in the 60s, and every kid had to own one. In 1968, Corgi obliged, and what a cracker it was. It had loads of gadgets. Machine guns at the front, the number plate spun round, it had a bulletproof shield on the back, and it even had an ejector seat. Some versions had tyre slashers, and you could even get it in gold. And here we are at number 1. Have you guessed it yet? This has got to be the most iconic car ever to appear on TV. 1960s Batmobile. Holy cow, Batman! Shut up, Robin. First released by Corgi in 1966, the first ones had no tow hook on the back. But later on it was added to pull the trailer for the Batboat. It had a chain slasher at the front. Flames shot out the exhaust at the back, even if they were only a bit of plastic. It fired rockets, and it had the figure of Batman underneath it. And if that wasn't enough, you got a badge with it. Even the figures looked quite like them, and the Batboat was so cool as well. So there you go, that's my top 20 all-time favourites finished. Did you have a favourite, or did you own any of these? Let me know in the comments, it'll be interesting to hear from you. And as usual, if you enjoyed it, subscribe and like, and I'll see you later.